Welcome back to Rides and Drives Team Radio. I am Kaz. I'm here with my father, Harvey, and we just watched qualifying for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix of Washington, D.C. Harvey, what stuck out to you from qualifiers today?
Well, what stuck out to me first and foremost was just how cool the environment for this race is. You know, I could talk about the politics in this, and I'm not going to because I don't want to go there. But watching these cars run past the Capitol through some of these other monuments, I think it's a race that I just think it fits, I mean, running race cars in historic places has been something that's happened forever, right? They run in Monaco, they run,
Mhm.
in the streets of Baku and other, capital type cities, right? So why not Washington, D.C.? I personally think it's a really great race, and I'm just bummed that the timing of it makes it difficult for some people.
Yeah, look, I think it looks really cool. Obviously, the photography and art that's going to come out of this, I think is going to be timeless. It's going to be material that Fox will be using in promos for the next, I don't know, like decade maybe. Honestly, there are going to be some beautiful, beautiful photos. I do still have some concerns about the fan experience, but I don't
Yep.
want to talk about those up front. We can do that at the end of the podcast. I would like to talk about what we saw on track today. And much as we've all kind of picked on this track a little bit for being boring, um, this kind of thing can create some really fun and interesting moments. I don't think any of us expected the track surface to be as bumpy as it is, and that
Right.
has made a huge, huge impact. All the drivers talked about it today. I know we heard from Kyle Kirkwood.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. He talked about how rough it is and how it changes the lines that you can run on this. I mean, going into turn two, the natural line you'd want to do is to hang to the right and then turn to the left to really cut that off. But you have to come to avoid some bumps. You have to come way over to the left, go swing back out to the right again, and then back through the corner. That's going to really impact passing there. The other
Mhm.
thing is on the racing line coming out of turn one, there's a huge bump there. And if you get thrown sideways or, you lose traction going over the bump, that's going to ruin your run down to turn two. So those things are interesting. And then there was that big bump going into turn six that caught at least three drivers today and put them into the wall. So that's going to I think that bumps are doing two things. They're going to limit passing opportunities. So I'm not sure how much on track passing we're going to see tomorrow. And then the other thing that those bumps are going to do is they are going to lead to chaos. Right
Yeah.
there, we're going to see yellow flags. If we don't, I'll be shocked that the way this is going to play out, and that will throw pit strategies and tire strategies into chaos, which may be the best thing to happen for the competition tomorrow.
Yeah, if we're struggling to produce on track passing because of the bumps, a little bit of chaos caused by them, I think is a really really great idea. The other thing that the bumps are going to do is make an already physical race harder.
Yeah,
This is longer than the standard street course by quite a bit. Kyle Kirkwood described it as it's like you get to the end of your street race and then you still have 50 laps to go. It's also DC humid in August. It's not a comfortable town right now to be walking around, much less strapped into a rocket ship.
yeah.
So this is going to be a really, really tough day for those drivers.
The other thing is, those cars only carry 1 liter of water for the driver. So there's not a lot they can do to hydrate during the race. They really need to make sure they're hydrated before.
A liter is going to go by real, real quick when you're in those conditions, man. Oof,
Yeah.
that's tough. Something else in discussing passing opportunities. Yeah, the bumps are going to create a little bit of a problem there that maybe we weren't anticipating until we saw cars out on track. Something else that I think is naturally going to limit on track passes as well is just the length of the race and the physical challenge of the race. You know, when we think about the Indy 500, we like to think about it in those stages, right? You know,
Right.
you're starting out just trying to put yourself in position to do the next stage properly. And I do wonder if we're going to see something kind of like that, given the length of this race, just making sure that you're in a position where if cautions come out here, you can respond this way. If cautions come out here, you can respond this way. And
Well,
then that way, hopefully get yourself toward the front at the end.
I think the really interesting thing that'll happen compared to last weekend, right?
Mhm.
When Ericsson came out with what was it, 20 laps to go,
Yeah,
right?
I thought it
And
was
then
too
he
short.
ran to the front. You're not going to be able to do this in this race, right? You're not going to be able to pit with 20, 30 laps to go and then pass 10 cars. I mean, I'll be shocked if they can do that with the amount of bumps and the challenges in it. The other thing is you're going to be so physically tired at that point in the race because these cars don't have power steering,
Mhm.
and arm strength and stamina is going to be critical in this race.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the results of qualifying and what that means. First of all, man, I would have been really bummed if I were an IndyCar driver and I got drawn for group one.
Yeah,
What
that
a
group was
stacked group.
stacked. Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it happens that way. I totally, and I like that it can happen that way. But man, this is a tough one for some of these guys. There are a lot of drivers who I expect to see most of the time in the Fast 12 who missed out. And there's not anybody who made round two that is like a huge outlier for me. You know,
Right.
I know Armstrong has been struggling a little bit from time to time or recently, but he's been solid this
Yeah.
season. So
He,
I'm not surprised to see him in round two. And all of the other drivers are regular appearances. So we've got
yeah.
just a little bummer for
I,
for all in group one.
well, and then a couple of the interesting results of the qualifying. Obviously, Alex going to the top, not a surprise, other than the fact that he didn't win that first position.
Hmm.
And usually in this type of qualifying for the Fast Six, it's that first car out that has the advantage because they have the hotter tires. I thought it was funny in the press conference when Alex said, well, when someone asked him what his secret was, he said, I have tire warmers. And everyone laughed.
It was Kyle Kirkwood asked him
Yeah.
when he sat down. He said, "I before you guys go, I have one. How did you get so much faster between the group stages and the Fast Six?" And Alex was just like, "No traffic."
Yeah.
And Kyle was like, "Yeah, me too." And then Alex goes, "I have tire warmers."
Yeah,
Okay.
so he was having a little fun with the crowd again. The other thing was McLaren looked great until the um, second round of qualifying when they couldn't crack the top six. They were fast all weekend, top 10 all day today and everything, but then they in that second round Pato seventh, Christian ninth, and Nolan 12th. Not bad, but why didn't one of them crack the Fast Six?
When a team puts three cars in the Fast 12, you feel like one of them should make it through.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
put three there, it says that your car has the pace. When none of them make it, you kind of, well, does it then?
yeah,
What happened? And it's not like they all three qualified in that second, like let's just say it easier group.
right,
Both Pato and Christian qualified in group one, had to take down some really experienced qualifiers.
right.
They had to out qualify the pole champion
Y-
in order to get there. So
Yep.
yeah, a little bit surprising. I also, before we truly get into the round two and the Fast Six, I just want to say how horrible I feel for Scott Dixon. And, I mean, look, Kiffin caused it, but
Yeah.
man, he must be. I'm sure that the folks at Ganassi are not super thrilled with him at this exact moment. He's probably really kicking himself,
Yeah.
not just
Kiffin
for making that mistake for himself, but also for ruining his teammates' really
teammates. Yeah.
phenomenal
Because,
lap.
yeah, Dixon said he was going to transfer for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
Dixon would have needed to make a massive mistake of his own based on the
right.
time he was putting up. So,
Yeah, poor Kiffin. That was as bad a mistake as we've seen this weekend for sure. So
yeah.
yeah. So what else in the top 12 Fast Six struck you?
Well, I think I'd like to talk now at this point about the format for the Fast Six.
Yeah.
I really, really still like the one lap shootout, but it is becoming clear that whoever, I know that Kyle went out first and is
Right.
starting second, but also Kyle had a bobble, Alex didn't. Also, Alex Palou is a freak boy. And as we now know, he has tire warmers.
Yeah.
So so I think that I think it's becoming clear that largely the first person out has the dramatically better chance of
Sure.
being able to stick your car on pole or at the very least the front row, and that the chance diminishes time more and more and more with each driver to go out. Rasmussen was throwing it around
Yeah.
and wasn't able to crack, even third position
Right.
because of where he went. So I do wonder if he had started earlier. And I get that there should be a reward for being the fastest time out of round two. Although I don't necessarily get that there should be, part of me thinks that the strategy is you shouldn't be strategizing for putting in the fastest times in round two. You should be strategizing for transfer.
Right.
Maybe that means saving a set of tires. Maybe that, so I don't know. It seems like too much of a reward for a time that doesn't necessarily mean you did the best.
Yeah. Yes. And honestly, I don't think qualifying position is going to be a huge factor in this race.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the great news, right? Is that in
Yeah.
IndyCar, it's not like in another series where maybe passing opportunities are few and far between and qualifying pole is a guaranteed victory. We don't see that here. But I would
Yeah.
like to figure out a way we could balance that a little bit better, make it, you know, I keep coming back to the notion of maybe if you make the Fast Six, you get one additional set of tires. You must use it in the Fast Six. You can only use it in the Fast Six. That way,
Right.
everybody starts out on cold tires.
Yeah. Yeah. That's certainly a way to balance that out and make it a level playing field for all the cars.
I'd like to,
Hang on.
I'd like to see it.
Time out. I need to turn some lights
Yeah,
on
you
in
need a
here.
light. You need a light big time.
Hang
We're
on.
almost done.
That's better.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, much more clear. Thank you so
Yep.
much. Yeah, I would like to see them try maybe leveling the playing field a little bit. If it doesn't work out, if it's better to go back this way, I like the one lap shootout and I hope they keep doing it. I just don't think it's quite perfect yet, and I want to see them keep working with it.
Yeah, well, they have the off season, and who knows? Maybe we'll get a chance to corner somebody in Milwaukee and talk about it with
Yeah, I'll
them.
just point at them, waggle my finger, make this better, says I. And they'll say,
Yeah,
oh, all right,
yeah,
get out of my face, crazy lady.
we can figure that out. So, yeah, the other thing I think that was interesting in the qualifying today is that while most of the people who were near the top you expected, obviously Rasmussen kind of jumped out of nowhere, especially the way ECR has been running this year.
Mhm.
Um, I think it just reinforces the team structure now and how we're seeing the consistency build. And I wonder what's going to happen with all the changes that are coming up to the teams and the drivers in the next year and the shakeups that we're going to see.
Yeah, not just driver moves. I know that we talk about the silly season a lot because it's fun to talk about, and there are more
Right.
updates that we'll get to on a later episode. Um, but I am also equally excited about how all of this new equipment that we're getting is going to shake things up.
Yep.
How many resources next season will people really be putting into the car they have versus developing the car that they will be driving? So what are we going to see next year? Is it going to be this kind of like crazy last hurrah to the DW12? I know everybody's going to want to win the last race in that car at the very
Yeah.
least. So Laguna Seca probably next year should be pretty fun. Um, yeah, it's just I agree with you. It's an exciting time. I think we've gotten to a stage where we feel like we know what to expect from certain teams.
Yes.
And that doesn't always deliver, but usually we have a pretty good idea. And the shakeups that we have are going to bring us a little bit more of that chaos that we love so much about IndyCars. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to get there.
Yeah, and the only thing that's not chaotic about IndyCar is Alex Palou winning the
Yeah.
championship. He does have a chance to close this out this weekend, and he talked about that in the press conference too. When does it put a lot on your mind knowing you can wrap this up? He said, no, actually, it takes a lot off my mind because, and he all but admitted the championship is over. All I
Yeah.
have to worry about is winning the race,
Yeah.
right? And he made it very clear he wants to win this race. He wants to win that trophy.
Yeah, I was gonna
He's
say
yeah,
it's very clearly not just about the race because both on TV and in the press conference, he did a long thing about how much he likes the trophy. I thought it was he kept calling it a beautiful trophy. It stuck out to me so much that I had to Google a photo of it because
yeah.
like Alex,
And
man, you
it is
really want
cool.
this trophy. And it is a unique trophy. It is cool. I bet Alex has so many trophies on that shelf, but I don't know that he has too many that look just like this one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
And
it's a nice one for him to add.
and before we move on to the victory lane game, I just have one more thing I want to just comment on and say great job, Penske Entertainment.
Yeah.
This day came off without a hitch. It's an inaugural race, and we know how sometimes those are fraught with challenges.
Hmm.
Um, it went other than the 10 minutes in the morning while they were trying to get some radios, working for the first practice session. Everything apparently went off without a hitch. People got in. The crowds looked big. Obviously, like you said in the pre-race podcast, I'm not sure the sight lines are great if you're
The
not in a
good
grandstand.
people of the internet have some complaints about
Yeah,
GA.
yeah,
And I honestly, if my choice was to watch this race on TV or take a GA ticket, I would watch this race on TV.
right.
That doesn't really feel like the kind of crowd experience that I would want, being packed into a big open space with no visibility of the track and apparently not enough screens.
Uh,
Which is if you're going to offer no visibility of the track, you had really better pack it with screens.
yeah,
So
interesting.
that's a bit of a struggle. But the good people of the internet can read a map as well as I can. So
Yeah,
if you got your ticket for this, you knew what you were signing up for.
right, right.
Yeah. But yeah,
Well,
overall, Penske A plus, and frankly, the GA crowd experience is not really under the purview of Penske Entertainment. So
no.
A plus to Penske, I think, yeah, this is why they call Roger the captain because
Yep.
he does this over and over and over. He's very successful at it, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and
just establishes a lot of trust.
his people were not going to let him down.
No,
So, let's talk about what we think is going to happen tomorrow and play our victory lane game.
gosh, I just don't know. I mean,
Let's
I
put it this
clearly I
way.
never do, but
I'm glad I have first pick this time.
I'm actually glad I don't. I feel like there's some pressure that comes with first pick.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Harvey, you do have first pick. Let us start with the podium. Who do you have finishing third?
I'm going to put him out of position and onto the podium for this race. Pato Award
Okay,
in
moving up from
P3.
fifth.
Yeah, moving up from fifth.
That's a strong choice. I am going to, you know what? No, I'm not going to
What?
explain. I'm not going to explain any reasoning at all this time. I'm just going to make picks, and that's what it is. I will take Marcus Armstrong.
Ooh, that is a surprising pick for the podium here.
Mm.
I like it though. He's quick. Yep. So number two,
Hmm.
I'm going Scott McLaughlin.
Great. That would be fun. I love Scott. And he's due for a win. It's time. I would
It
really like to
due
see
for
him
a
get
great
one here.
result, and it's a good story with his U.S. citizenship and all of that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did like that. I knew that I'm pretty sure that the reason Tim Cindric chose to go third was because they wanted to see what Alex had and not dangle the time Alex needed in front of him, but rather
Right.
make him put it up first. But and that clearly did not work. But I also really like that the Thirsty Threes picked third. I thought that was fun. And when he was asked why third, I think that's what he should have said. He should have been
Yeah.
like, "We're the Thirsty Threes, man. Of course we take third." I'm certain you're going to choose him to win the race. So Alex Palou will be second on my podium.
Yep. I'm picking Alex. He wants that trophy, and what Alex wants, Alex gets.
He does want that trophy so bad. I think it's really, really fun. I've heard him talk about wanting to win races for specific reasons, but I've never ever heard him talk about a specific trophy so much. Maybe before he won the Borg Warner, that was
No,
something that he would talk about. But yeah, he wants this one bad. Um, all right, am I going to be normal or am I going to be full crazy?
it's up to you.
I don't like being normal. Let's go. Let's go full crazy. Willpower.
Okay. Wow, that would be a big mad dash up from way in the back again. But he almost did it last week, so
It's a long
why
race.
not
He's
this week?
got the experience to manipulate situations. Why not? Why the hell not?
Why not? For sure.
And I do think for the record it will be Alex winning the race. So anybody who I picked would be a crazy pick. Why not
Yeah,
make a more fun one? All right,
that's
who do
right.
you have for biggest mover?
I am taking the aforementioned Kiffin Simpson
Yeah, sure.
to move up from last. He had a really strong car. He was looking good all weekend. He made a mistake. He's going to want to make up for it. So I see him finishing top 10.
Yeah, I think that that's a really strong possibility. Okay, I could say willpower here because, you know,
Yeah, you
13 to 1 would be quite the move. But I think I said something at the end of last week about how I plan to make chaos picks as much as possible. So, oh, Rinus VK.
all right.
Let's give
Yeah,
myself a little more room to move up from 19. Let's see how far Rinus can go.
I was really surprised by his lack of result. I thought he was going to be in at least the top 12 and, fast six. So,
Well, and what I think of Rinus VK is he has the skill to, and sometimes the luck
yeah,
to get him there. So let's see what happens. Rinus
yep.
VK.
And
Who's your
then
biggest bust?
my biggest bust is the king of chaos himself, Christian Rasmussen.
That is the correct pick because this race is long. And it's just too much opportunity for him to do something too crazy, even for him to survive. If
Yeah.
he does somehow last to the end, man, what a great afternoon we will be in for. Biggest bust for me. I don't like it, but Scott McLaughlin's had some terrible luck.
Oh no. Yeah. Can you hear that
Maybe
noise?
Rasmussen takes him out. And
There you go.
they're right next to each other. Could
Oh, that's
happen.
funny. All right. Cool. Well, that's oh no, we've got the plot twist now.
Yes, yes, we still do have the plot twist.
All
Um,
right. My plot twist is that, well, let's see. Um, this is a tough one because
I
it's
know.
not like there's anything big that can happen to change this season at this point. Um, I was going to say something that is just way too normal, and it's that Alex will not walk away with the title locked up.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that for a point.
Yeah, sure. That is really normal. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's
That
not very exciting
that doesn't
pick.
excite me at all.
Right.
Um, I'm going to say it's just weird and convoluted. Well, it's not that convoluted. I'm going to say at least five teams make six pit stops, six plus pit stops.
Oh,
I think it's going to be a really wacky pit strategy race, and
sure.
we're if we're expecting this to be a four stopper, okay, I think that there are going to be at least five teams that are like, whoa, throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're starting from scratch and doing something crazy. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right. And how many points?
One, I'm not an idiot.
All right. Well, that's what we have for this episode of Rides and Drives Team Radio. We'll be back tomorrow after the race to talk about the chaos that is certain to come, and look forward to hearing your thoughts about the race as well. So follow us again on the social medias. I'm Harvey_drives. She's Fast Car Kaz. And for this episode, we're out.
Drive safe, everybody.